Hello, welcome back to another episode of Somewhere Between a Film and TV podcast. We're your hosts. I am Daniel Parra.
And I'm Erwin.
And number one, thank you so much for listening and watching. Number two, what are they going to do?
They're going to like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. Erwin, what are we reviewing?
Moana 2.
Moana 2, and I think we're going to have more than I anticipated for us to talk about with this movie. But before we get into all of that, just so you know, everything we review has full spoilers. And with this, I mean, there are passionate people for Disney films out there. I guess we're... yeah, would you consider yourself...
I don't know about passionate, but I do love a good Disney movie.
I am passionate about the ones that are really good.
Yes.
So... my answer to that is I'm passionate about the first Moana movie, then, based off of...
It came out 2016.
2016. Do you remember... did you see that in theaters?
Yes. I believe
I cannot believe... it's been like, what, 8 years?
Yeah.
So, before we get into this movie and all the spoilers that have to do with it, I gotta ask you a question, Erwin.
Yes.
With this movie, did you love it? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere between?
I'm somewhere between.
How so? What are your feelings overall?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't hate this movie.
Okay.
I do find it okay.
So I said I wanna, and then I remember that stupid song with Dwayne Johnson has in this. But with this, I didn't really like it. I thought that it was passable, and I think that's kind of irritating that it's passable. It's weird to say. I'm going to say a lot of positive things about a movie I did not like that much.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of good things in this. Mm-hmm. I cannot just not qualify that.
Yeah.
However, I think that Disney has such a rep with them. Not even in a negative way.
I don't know, the past few years, they've just been up and down with their movies.
But that's the thing. That's been their entire run. They've always been like that. Yeah. But I can't believe... we talked about Frozen 2, right? Do you remember what you thought of that movie?
Yeah, I thought it was okay as well.
Yeah.
It just kept... I don't know. The issues that it had was very similar to how Moana 2 was as well.
Frozen 2 barely had a plot. It's very... very well known that they even released a documentary on Disney Plus saying, hey, we don't know what we're doing with this movie because they had to scrap it halfway through. And with this...
the amount of times that you see articles of saying, oh, they had to restart the entire movie.
Literally the entire movie. And as much as I'm looking forward to the next Captain America, I hear the same thing with that one too.
I hate hearing that so often.
I hate hearing it too because I don't like studio meddling and everything having to do with that. And Star Wars suffered from that pretty heavily as well. And you would think, though, that their biggest money makers, that they wouldn't touch. They would just let the artists do their thing. Yeah. Yes. And with this, and it's funny that I say biggest money maker, although I heard Wish didn't make any money last year. I still haven't seen it.
I still haven't seen it.
And I've heard that, I mean, I'm not in a rush to.
No.
I'm curious, too, if we ever do like a Disney, like, bracket, whatever.
10 years later.
Yeah. But with this, originally, it was supposed to be a Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
And it was, I believe, already like in production, episode wise. And for me, you can feel that.
You can definitely feel that.
As
a movie as a whole, I could see it just being direct to Disney Plus.
No, do you remember? Sometimes I joke about this. Sometimes I say that, if you were nostalgic for, I don't know, like with Madam Web, 90s shitty comic book movies. If you were nostalgic for the Mulan 2s, what else is there? The Beauty and the Beast, the Christmas one.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All the Cinderella sequels.
All the Cinderellas, except for the third and Lion King 1.5 and 2. Those are all good.
The third Cinderella movie? I don't remember the third one.
It's good.
Oh.
But if you were nostalgic, I believe, for Disney Toons, if you wanted to see another Tarzan 2, another any of those, you got another one. This feels to me like that. Like they were doing all the check the boxes, the stuff that
worked in the first one.
Worked in the first one. So I don't know if you already want to get into your negatives or if we should go for their positives first.
Let's do the positive first.
But before we do, so before we do that, we got ahead of ourselves again. What's this about?
Oh, yes. So after receiving an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors, Moana must journey to the far seas of Oceania? Oceania? No,
they never call it that. They never call it that.
And into dangerous, long-lost waters for an adventure unlike anything she's ever faced.
That's the first movie. Unlike anything she's ever faced, she's done this already. So yeah, let's get into the positives here. What did you like about this?
I honestly liked the way the movie looked.
Okay.
I did. I love seeing Maui again, and the pig and the chicken. That's it.
The side characters that don't talk.
Yeah, that was great. Maui talked.
No, I'm not talking about Maui, but the outside of him, the ones that don't talk.
Yeah. Other than that, that's all I enjoyed.
Okay. I liked the way this movie looked sometimes. Yeah. Because I think that they polished up the final third to be like a big thing.
Yeah.
Although I could really feel the threads of things missing here. The final act, I'm not trying to get in my negatives already, but it's so...
Whoa, let's calm down.
Yeah.
Think about the positives.
Okay, yeah, let me hold that thought.
Yes.
But remind me to say that the final act was anticlimactic. But
okay. Yeah, I agree. But
yeah. It is beautiful sometimes. Sometimes I think, though, that they left what was already animated in there. The beginning is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Some of the lights and stuff, I sound like, I don't know, whenever I'm like, I get why a kid would like this, like, super colorful.
Yes.
But then there are other times where I thought that even some of the character designs and some of the side characters were kind of off. Mm-hmm. It felt like people who didn't make the first one but had seen the first one worked on this. And I'm not going to apologize to Dwayne Johnson because I didn't like Red 1. But I do think he's amazing as this character. I think that, like, I complained about some of his performances being phoned in. Not here. I don't think that at all. I think that he does have a real charisma.
Yeah, he does play it well.
And when he shows up, it adds an actual life to the movie.
Even Moana herself, I think she definitely comes back into the same role like how she did in the first one.
Yeah.
She plays it well.
Auli'i Cravalho, I like her a lot in the first one.
Yeah.
I love the first Moana movie. I want to clarify that. I want to say that. Yeah, it's
have we ever talked about it?
I don't think that we have.
I mean, the first Moana movie was amazing.
We were in high school when that came out.
Yeah. I think it was during that time when Lin-Manuel Miranda was like peak.
I also want to touch on him in a second.
You want to touch him?
A little.
Okay.
He's a Broadway legend, man. Have you seen
so
Hamilton?
You had to touch him?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen
Stroke
Hamilton.
his goatee.
Have you seen Hamilton?
I've seen
live?
Hamilton in person. Yeah.
Oh, how was it?
Amazing, nice. Incredible. Because you know what? He's a good songwriter. And we say that we're passionate about musicals. I want to touch on not good music in a second because oh my god. But there are plenty of things that I can say. Like I was gonna say a lot of positive things about a movie I didn't really enjoy.
Yeah.
There are some really funny moments in this too, I thought. Like I laughed out loud.
With the
like
pig and the chicken.
Usually with the chicken, the pig a couple times.
Yeah. Oh, the coconut head ones.
And I love the little coconut dudes. Those are incredibly well designed characters, and I got really attached to their story for no reason.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'd rather be watching them get back to their home.
The fact that they had no emotion but showed so much emotion.
Yeah, and then I really think that their character designs are amazing.
Yeah, they're very unique. Well, every character of the coconut.
Yeah.
Individually, they were just unique.
No, because they'll have this, like... I think so much of Mad Max when I see stuff like that.
Oh,
but like
I
Mad Max gear, yeah.
Even with their ship. Or, like, not their ship. Their boat, their canoe that they're in.
Yeah. No, it's a ship, right?
I don't know. I guess.
A canoe's a ship.
Yeah. Well, what is Moana riding? A canoe.
A canoe, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look... It's not much of a ship.
I
don't know. I don't know about.
I don't know anything about boats either.
I don't know boats.
I'm sure there's a masthead out there that's like, how dare you?
How dare you confuse these boats together? I'm like, I don't know anything about boats.
You're like, dude, I mean, people get mad about kayaking and paddleboarding. I think they're the.
Oh, they're not. I don't know. Guys.
One you stand on, and you also get on your knees, or the other one like.
Can you do it on both?
A kayak, you sit.
I don't know, dude.
I've done both.
Whatever.
Okay, let's get back. Yeah. We don't know much about boats.
No.
But do you have any other positives here? Did you like the story?
I don't know. There wasn't much of a story. I felt like I was just following characters from point A to point B, point C to point D.
Yeah.
Until eventually
that's
it's
actually
like
what
back
drove
to the
me
circle.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I was complaining to you because you said something about Moana. I'm going to disagree a little bit when we get to our negatives. Mm-hmm. Because I think she's an amazing character.
Yeah.
In the first one.
Yeah.
In this one, I think that they have a billion side characters that they would rather put in the forefront for some reason.
Yeah.
And
I still think she's like as good as she was in the first one because she's still doing the same thing. Same thing with Maui.
However, that's my problem.
Yeah.
Is exactly that.
Oh, okay.
But with everything, I think that like the third act is interesting and then the movie's over.
Yeah, everyone kind of builds up for something. I'm like, okay, I can see it happening, and then it just stops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, all right.
And with the music, I liked like 2 of the songs. Did you like any of the songs? No, none of them.
I didn't like any of the songs. I liked when Dwayne or the Maui goes, "You're welcome," and then I'm like, "Hey," and that was it.
I thought that was a reference, but it also didn't feel like one.
It's like maybe he's just polite.
He kind of just said it. He was like, "You're welcome." And I was like the way he said it, I was like, "Was that supposed to be like a wink at the?"
Yeah, I don't know.
Because there is one moment I thought was hilarious. Was in that same scene. Before. Because this is true. I don't mind whenever Disney breaks the fourth wall if it's like funny, because they do it a couple times. And in this one, he says, "Whatever, princess," and she says, "I'm not a princess." And he says, "A lot of people think that you are." And I was like, I think that's a great line.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Okay, I guess I don't have any other like.
You don't
positives.
have any positives?
No.
Okay. People obviously liked this more than we did, because I told you people clapped whenever it was over.
Even when I was looking for seatings for this movie, it was packed. During the day, it was very packed.
This movie was sold out. We got to it a little bit late, but honestly, I couldn't have even seen it if I wanted to last week, because like it was ridiculous. And I'd forgotten that. I'd forgotten that this was gonna be a big deal, because we thought that nobody was fucking gonna see this.
It's weird. This movie's, of course, this movie's like based around like the sea, and like the beach and the sand. You would think it would come out during the summer as well.
The first Moana also came out in like November.
That's
I think.
Weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
But I think it's just the way Disney how they market things.
I have another couple positives. I love the
marketing of this movie.
No, there was no marketing of this movie.
Yeah, they're still making money.
I love the AAPI, the Asian American Pacific Islander stuff. I love the culture. I love the way that they utilize it. I think that the mythological stuff is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they could have done more.
They absolutely could have, but like how the world works, how all that stuff works. Every single positive I have is the first movie, though. Yeah, is that I love all that. I love Maui. I don't love any of the songs. I like 2 of them. And
what were the 2 songs that you liked?
One of them was the one that's basically just ripping itself off from the first one. I can't tell you what it was even called. It's just
who sings it?
Auli'i Cravalho.
Oh.
It's the No One Knows How Far I'll Go, but for this one.
Oh, yes.
And you know what sucks? I do not remember what other one I liked. I remember being like, oh, cool. Oh, wait, no. The one that's very obviously ripping off Lin-Manuel Miranda. Whenever they're like, we're a team, guys, and then we're gonna build this boat together.
No, dude.
You know, like that
I don't remember.
She's on the boat, and then
I don't remember that.
That's actually part of the problem with this movie. I walked out of it, and I was immediately like, what?
What just happened?
Yeah. Did you stay for the after credit scene?
No, I didn't know there was an after
credit scene. So you didn't know what it was?
No, what was it?
The crab that sings the Shiny song comes back, and then he's like, "You guys want to form a team?" And then like,
to who?
To the vampire lady who's not a villain.
Yeah.
And what's his name? What's the villain of this? The Thunder guy.
Really? The Thunder guy wasn't even in it.
He shows up. No, he's in the end. He's in the last scene.
Does he say anything?
He's like, "I can't believe that you." Oh, no. I remember what happens now. So the end credit scene of this is the main villain shows up and is like, "How did Moana defeat me?" And she was like, "I didn't help with that." And obviously she did, yeah. And then the crab guy shows up and he's like, "Oh, are we forming a team to defeat Moana?" And then the guy kind of stares at him, and I guess that's what they're gonna do.
And it ends?
Yeah.
Bro, what?
Somebody says it's just the beginning, and I was like, again?
Nice. Okay, that's kind of funny.
Moana says that. She says it to somebody when all the people show up at the end.
Oh, that's
true. She's like, "This is just the beginning." I'm like, the beginning of what?
I was like, I guess there's gonna be a third one. I can see that happening. I'm not gonna lie.
I wouldn't even mind the third one. I just want a better movie. Like, that's genuinely what my issue is with this. At the end of the day, is I can't believe that. I don't want to say that they phoned it in, but they did. They did phone it in. You know how they got a movie that was originally a TV show, put 3 to 4 episodes together and called it a day. That's essentially what happened here. So, our negatives.
Okay, negatives.
Okay, what do you want to start off with?
Let's start with the characters.
Okay, who did you not like in this?
The side characters?
Yeah.
Probably the guy and the girl. The old guy was fine.
You didn't like the one that's like a historian for Maui?
No, not really.
I kind of liked his thing.
He got annoying to me.
Really?
He got annoying. And then the girl, she wasn't annoying or anything. It was just the fact that I feel like she was just underutilized. But so were like the other side characters. I feel like they were just not utilized to their full ability.
Yeah.
And they were just put in the forefront as humor, and that was it. And not for me to care.
Yeah.
Because one of the main things about Moana and the second one as well, they kept talking about like finding more people, right? And you would think like when you find more people, you would be introduced to people that you care, not even just care, but like are just interesting.
Right. Yeah.
And these characters weren't interesting, and the fact that we were talking and like going on this adventure with them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enough. You
spend so much time with a bunch of people that you still end up knowing nothing about. Yeah. I don't know anyone's motivations here. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I'll get to Moana in a second, like Moana herself, but with the side characters, I'm like, what do they want? Like
it's obvious like what their niche is in the movie. With the old guy being about plants.
They made that writer mistake that people make where they gave them quirks and not anything to actually build to.
Yes.
Maui gets to be the way he gets to be because he doesn't really have to grow. Like he gets to be the comedic relief, but when you have essentially exclusively comedic relief in like every character, it gets to a point where you're like, you could at least humanize them a little bit. Like give them a goal. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like the best Disney movies, like The Lion King, I can very distinctly tell you like what Pumbaa and Timon's growth are.
Yeah.
It's that they're super lazy and then they're given something to do and then they do it. Yeah. And with this though,
I feel like their only purpose that they tried to do was like they built the boat together as a team.
Yeah.
Or they worked together as a team. But even then, it's just it could have been anybody.
Yeah, like,
and that's where the characters felt flat.
Because they don't really add anything new. Mm-hmm. I kept thinking about the first one, how it is just Moana and Maui, and in this one, I was like, I almost kind of wish that they just would have done that again.
Yeah.
Because they're already repeating themselves here again anyway. They really want you to remember the first movie, and I'm sure you'll say that in a second.
The amount of times they kept referencing the first one.
Do you want to get into your other?
Yeah, I guess so. It was like, what, 3 or 4 times? I don't even know. I wish I counted because I can't. The way I was like halfway through the movie, I was like, I want to watch the first one again.
Yeah, no, I thought about you during this, like, because one of your critiques that you often have with stuff is whenever they're like, I don't like whenever something reminds me of something better. Yeah. And you said that about Aquaman. We never reviewed it, but like Aquaman 1 and 2 kept referencing.
We talked about the second Aquaman movie.
Did we?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we did, right?
No, we weren't making episodes during that time.
I thought we were. I thought we did.
Not in December. We
didn't not like episodes, like YouTube videos, or just
just not at all.
That's weird. I thought we did.
No, I mean, not memorable, like much like that movie itself,
crazy.
But
no.
But it's the same thing here, really. Like I don't like it.
And Frozen 2.
Oh yeah, and Frozen 2.
Yeah.
Because they keep saying like, oh, remember whenever you did this in the first one? And like, yeah, I get that she's like a local celebrity, basically. Yeah. She's already the chief's daughter. She would be anyway.
Yeah.
But when the movie reminds you constantly of something that's already happened, it's sort of a counterpoint of the song that they even have.
Yeah.
Where they even say, stop focusing on the past and history of that and start making your own story. I wish Moana would listen to her own advice because like they kept doing that in this as well.
Yeah.
And if you want to touch on any other negatives here,
the villain.
Okay.
Because even
what do you mean by villain though? Who are we complaining about?
One villain. Because, there's one villain. But in the first Moana movie, I love the aspect that it was about nature.
Yeah.
That was great. That was amazing. But in the second one, it was the same type of thing. Nature again. But the nature was the thunder guy, the cloud.
Yeah.
But you hardly ever got to see him. Just in the movie itself. I'm not talking about the after credits because I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But even then, it was just like, what's the point? But he wasn't even shown. He was barely shown like maybe 2 or 3 times. But for me, I thought it was like the big island that looked like a clam at first.
Oh, yeah, which was cool. I thought it was cool, yeah.
It was a cool idea, but that wasn't even the villain itself. And at the end, it was just like tornadoes.
No, I'm telling you.
Lightning.
I felt very Disney Plus next episode whenever you could just see the seams. You'd be like, all right, this is the episode where they run into the coconut dudes, and then they do this.
Yeah,
and
it'd be like 2 or 3 episodes there.
Yeah, and it'd be like next episode, and then it would be them heading towards. Is that when Maui shows up? No, he shows up after that.
He shows up. But, yeah, go ahead.
Because genuinely, whenever he first shows up and he does like the landing thing that he does, that was or like. At the very beginning when he's in wherever that is, you can tell that like, okay, that would be the end of the first episode. Him showing up, and you can see the seams, and like that just drives me crazy. I think the last time a movie did something like that where they repurposed TV was Clone Wars. Oh, and yeah, dang. From my memory, and that movie's not good. It's worse than this. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, that's true.
It's the same thing, though, and, like, I just didn't like being reminded, because it would be the same thing if they took that show Monsters at Work and called it Monsters, Inc. 2.
Monsters at Work? Oh, the show? Monsters at Work? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And, like, that would make me mad if they didn't actually put the effort into making...
I would love to see a Monsters 2.
I would, too, but I don't think they're ever going to do it. No. But, I mean, it's surprising, considering how often they'll make sequels of literally anything right now.
I'm pretty sure they will in, like, 20 years or something.
Satisfy me. Like, I would be happy. But... with this, I do want to complain about something. And this has to do with Disney overall and how they treat their main characters. And I also want to touch on the villain thing as well, because it's been driving me crazy.
We still haven't touched about the music.
Or the music.
Damn.
Okay, so yeah.
There's so many guys.
Okay, so I think it's clear that, like, I was trying to really pull us for our positives. Wow. But Moana herself, because this is going to be just a me critique, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I don't like that Disney's been doing this thing where they make their main characters flawless. I think it drives me insane that people want a character.
Mary Sue?
No, that's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying because like a Mary Sue's is someone that they're like, oh, they write them. That's like what the people that use terms like SJW use.
Oh,
but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that Moana doesn't have problems, and I don't like that. The reason why Disney Princess is not a princess, I know, but the reason why Disney figures that are main characters people gravitate to in the first place is because they mess up. They make them relatable. They make them have something to learn from. Yeah. If you present all these options and all these choices and all these obstacles like this movie does, she quickly overcomes them to the point where you're like, well, what are the stakes?
Well, I think the issue that they had was they had to keep the story going.
Yeah.
And so I guess the moment they had to like stop the main character from like achieving the next goal, then it would stop the whole story, which would most likely have the movie drag. But even though the movie itself is already dragging on its own,
because I felt like this movie felt longer to me than it originally was. Typically we say, oh, I didn't feel the runtime. I was like, how long is this? It was
only an hour and a half.
Yeah, and it felt long.
Yeah,
but that's what I don't like that much, and they keep doing it too. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. For example, I think that Encanto is a great movie. I think love Encanto. What's her name? Mirabel?
Yeah, Mirabel.
I think she isn't perfect, and the movie shows that as well. I love
she already starts off with a flaw.
Yeah.
And that was like her whole thing.
That's because she learns from something, and everybody learns something at the end of that. The side character's not great. You know why? They all have like something to them.
Yeah. They all had their niche, but with their niches, they came with like a flaw as well.
No, exactly. And that's fine, like, because you do have to have an ensemble of people. Here, it's like, what makes them distinct outside of the fact that they kept calling her smart?
Yeah.
Not Moana, but that one, the smart girl? One. Yeah. Like, well, what else does she have to learn exactly? Yeah. And these movies, I feel like we can complain about this because they are made for kids as well, and you can put good lessons in there. What lesson can you learn when you're already being shown that this person's flawless? So you're kind of like...
Yeah, an example would be when Maui's like trying to cheer her up with Moana.
I need to start with that song. But like...
whatever the song was, I don't remember that song because it wasn't good. But then Moana comes back to like, get ready to say a speech to her team.
Yeah.
But the team already did the job.
So they were like,
already built the boat. And we're like, oh, and she's like, oh, awesome. And I'm like, what?
What I did like in that scene was whenever he's like, now it's my turn to give the motivational speech. Just because I like his personality. I think he's funny.
Oh, the guy?
Maui?
Oh, Maui? Yeah. Oh, no, I like Maui.
No, not the nerd, not the other nerd that's like a history nerd. Yeah. Like, they're all nerd. That's what I'm like. They're all kind of the same character.
Yeah.
The other guy likes plants and he's old.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know how to swim. Swims.
Oh, you know what?
Yes or no? He goes, I don't know how to swim. Swim.
That's why.
Proceeds to swim and pick up Maui, who's like triple his size. And I'm like, what?
Again. You think that was probably a scene from the TV show where they're like, learn how to swim, and then he's like,
I don't know, and then like the whole half that episode is him learning how to swim.
Exactly, probably
until that moment he has to swim to save Maui.
And then that's probably that was gonna be his character growth is that he learned how to swim.
I can see that happening.
No, we have watched enough of the Disney Plus shows to know that they all follow a formula. That's what it
or just a show in general.
Yeah, so
that's how it works.
You could just see. It's why I didn't like it. Felt episodic, and I know that that's a redundant complaint because you can literally fucking tell that they just run into an obstacle. There's nothing to be learned from it.
Yes.
They run into another one, and that's just it over and over. Like if you were to count, I couldn't help it. I was getting a little bored, so I was like, this would be episode 4, right? Whatever.
Yeah. The way that what you were talking about too, where like it felt like they could cut right there.
Yeah.
And that's where I was thinking too. I was like, oh, they could cut right there, and that could be like an end, and then start something else new. And I don't know. It was just
the seams were like not held together. That's exactly what I would say. Mm-hmm. And
the villain.
Want to complain about villains as well. Yeah. It's the counterpoint of Moana, and I'm wondering if you were going to say the same thing.
The vampire one? I keep saying vampire, but she's just bats.
They made her sound like a vampire, and right? She has like the teeth.
Fangs, and then would be upside down like a vampire.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming she's a vampire.
Do you have issues with Disney villains in general right now, or do you have...
I mean, they've always been an issue. I think just villains in general have always been an issue when it comes to Disney.
Yeah. But,
I mean, that's like majority of movies, because they tend to put more effort and care to the heroes, which makes sense. Because you're following them. But I like to think that a good hero also comes with a good villain as well.
I'm going to argue against you on that. I don't think Disney's always had an issue with that. Think about how iconic a bunch of Disney villains are.
But that comes with having, writing a good villain.
Exactly,
yes. Yeah. But I think there's a lot of movies where the hero stands out more than the villain does.
But think in the past decade. Does anything from the past decade of Disney movie, let's include Pixar as well. Let's throw that all in like one big thing.
Okay.
But does anything compare to The Lion King, to The Little Mermaid, to Snow White, even the iconography of that, Sleeping Beauty with Maleficent?
I think Toy Story 3.
Oh, with Lotso?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he can be up there too.
That's from 2011, I think, 2010.
Oh, damn.
That was 14 years ago.
Wow.
Toy Story 4's villain was...
You're naming all these movies that are before 2000.
Yeah.
And so then I'm trying to think of ones where I'm like, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Oh, what other Pixar or Disney animated movies
came out? Know who has a great villain? Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
From 2008 or 2009. Yeah. And
I think it just varies. I think it comes it's just depending on what filmmakers want to put more care to.
Yeah.
And if they put it in the same equal.
It's just it sucks because I think with this I just saw the traces of where this could be something. Yeah. I could see this being
what was Wreck-It Ralph?
The Candy Man guy.
Yeah. I think it was And then what about the second one? Breaks the Internet. Who was the villain in that one?
I like that movie. I like that movie more than most people, but I don't remember.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I just don't remember what the villain was.
I don't remember. Yeah.
What about Zootopia?
Zootopia was
racism.
Racism is bad.
And I'm that's a good villain.
Yeah, you're like, I mean,
he was not that bad.
It's if we're going to make a couple of respectful points, racism is bad, women need to be respected, and I know it's a controversial take, but come on. We got to put ourselves out there, right? We just have to admit that. But
so it's a good villain. Racism is a good villain.
I mean, it's Jenny Slate. The actress, not the villain. She's not a villain. I don't know her in real life, but that's just
the character.
Yeah.
Was it she was a goat or something?
Okay, as much as I like that movie, that does tie into a trope I don't like with Disney.
Right.
They don't let you get to know the villains anymore because they keep doing the surprise twist villain at the end
that's
thing.
True.
I have so many issues here with Disney villains. That's one of them.
Yeah.
The other one is that they just don't let them be straight up evil like how they used to be. Yes, the sympathy can be there.
Yeah.
but sometimes they don't want to show them doing anything actually evil, and that drives me crazy. What about Big
Hero 6?
Twist villain at the end.
Yeah, twist villain. Yeah. But you see like the sympathy too, but he's also still a bad guy.
Yeah. So it's just, I wish that they would go back to their roots of, it's fine for kids to be scared of a villain. I remember being scared of, I cannot remember I'm Scar, Lion King. I was. And
you were also scarred.
Exactly. Like that's when people say like that's how you end up learning from these movies as a kid though. They add these like scarring moments.
Yeah.
And that makes them special.
Yeah.
Do you remember them as a kid? Yeah, absolutely. And then you have these memories of that.
What about the first Frozen movie?
The first Frozen movie has a twist villain at the end.
Yeah.
And I do love... There's certain tropes people get tired of quicker than others. I think I'm just over that one because I'm so tired of them.
It's not much... I guess, yeah. I was going to say it's not much of a twist if you kind of figure...
I mean, it's a twist, but it's obvious.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up Incredibles 2. I didn't bring up Incredibles 2 now, but they have that same thing.
Yeah.
With Bob Odenkirk's
The first
sister.
Incredibles movie is a great villain.
He's a great villain, and they show he's a villain pretty much immediately. Yeah. It's just, I want them to go back to doing that. And it seems like they're scared.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still stuck on the Zootopia thing. Racism. That's a good villain.
I don't think that was her name.
It's just the whole thing about it.
Yeah, it's just like, it's that. The villain.
What was Soul's villain?
Being soulless,
your
I guess.
Purpose.
Your purpose in life.
Purpose is my villain.
Being aimless.
Whoa.
Hey, Wally's was being fat. So
that wasn't it. What about Big Red?
Puberty?
Oh no, I'm changing.
It was puberty and the mom.
What about Inside Out?
Anxiety?
No, that's that first one.
Oh.
Sadness? Depression?
Yeah, depression.
Being the villain.
Depression. This is like me in therapy.
Dude, I can't.
But those are, honestly, flaw with this, but also flaw with Disney in general right now. But the big thing I want to talk about for us, because we just did mention that we do love musicals, and Wicked is amazing. If you haven't seen it, which everybody has, I recommend it.
Yes.
But what did you think of the music in this?
Dude, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. And it kind of sucks when you have to when they kept referencing the first one and you think about the music in the first one, it was great. It was amazing. I still listen to that
this morning. Yeah.
I still listen to the music even before Moana 2 came out.
Yeah.
I was like, this music's so good.
No, that one thing where The Rock was talking about picking up grapes with his butt or whatever. Do you know?
No, that must. Whew, no,
do you know what I'm talking about?
No, what are you talking about?
There's this video that went viral with him where he was.
Wait, Dwayne The Rock Johnson or
Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Oh,
and he was saying that he was like, I have a party trick. He was like, for the kids, it's when I'm Maui, and I turn into him and I sing the song, and he was doing this for Red 1 whenever he was like, see an IMAX, just like Oppenheimer. But then he was like, for the adults, when I'm having too much tequila, I can do this thing with a grape, and I don't pick it up with my hands, I don't pick it up with anything. And he was like, but my publicist says not to say that. And everybody's like, is he talking about picking up a grape with like his butt or something?
Is that how else would you, like, where else would you
I don't know. That's
maybe with his legs?
I was trying to figure out. I was like, if he was erect, then like, no, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you can't. You stab it.
That's what I was like. I don't know what.
I was like, is that picking it up?
I was like, I don't know why the fuck he said that, but whatever. And that's what I'm trying to say, though, is that the cultural. It was a movement, basically. There's a song that's a big deal every few years from Disney.
Yes.
We Don't Talk About Bruno, and You're Welcome from the first Moana. They try and recreate that here, and that song fucking sucked.
All of it, I just did not enjoy.
But that song I found straight up just like, come on.
It just wasn't good whatsoever.
Did you think that was the worst one?
Yeah.
I did too, because like it felt like they were trying to go straight for the same thing. This one's trying to check off all the boxes of the first one. It's trying to do the same thing with this one as well. They have in the first one, they have the song where she's like, I'm giving my big going away. I'm going to be going on this adventure. No one knows how far I'll go. It's a great song. It's amazing. You're Welcome is amazing, and I do think The Rock he can actually sing. I saw the Alamo pre-show thing. He can sing fairly well.
Oh, with the ukulele? Yeah, that's true.
And the rap. The other one, we stay hungry, we devour. Yeah, that song.
That was so funny whenever he did that, like, some press tour, and then people all around him was just singing that song.
Oh, yeah.
Or rapping that song with him. It was awesome.
That was whenever he had a baby that he had crowd surf that was only a few weeks old.
No, dude. How do you know this stuff?
I'll show you what I'm talking about. But with that, also, they have the Shiny song in this one with the vampire lady. And
yeah, I did not. I think at that moment, anytime they played any type of music, I just fade away. I could not. I was like, I'm done. I'm not gonna listen.
It's because I liked the first couple songs that I was like, I mean, maybe I'll enjoy it, because I kind of just kept waiting for the next song to happen.
Yeah.
It was also the same one with me. When it was the Batwoman, I was like, I don't think I like the music.
That's I was like, I don't think I like this anymore. I think I'm done.
And where I drew the line was the one that I told you I kind of liked, whenever the one that's a nerd, the girl was trying to rap. And I was like, you can't possibly remove Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's the reason why the music in the first one worked. And I get it. He got too popular, and he got that thing where people hate on somebody who's popular because they're popular. And I think he's super talented as an artist. And I think he's incredibly good at songwriting. Mm-hmm. And you know how we have proof of this now? Look at the content and the quality of the lyrics in the first one, and then this one.
I mean, the fact that his stuff still holds up now.
Exactly.
People still talk about it.
That's why, like, I don't know how Mufasa's gonna be, but he wrote the songs for that. So I know that at the very least,
it's gonna be good.
That at least the songs there'll be one or two that are amazing. I know, like, you just know that because he's him.
Yeah.
And we'll say that, yeah. And same thing with In the Heights as well, whenever that
In the Heights. I wish more people got to see that movie.
I do recommend it. It's incredibly underrated, actually. Yes. Not critically, but it's underseen.
Yes.
And just have proof of that.
Yeah.
With this, though, with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's song, I don't know what it was about it for me that I kind of got mad.
I think it's just the way I don't know, it worked so well in the first one, the way he was being able to use his voice.
Yeah.
Because the fact that we never heard him sing or rap or anything, and then the fact that we were like, oh, I don't know if he can actually do that.
Yeah.
And we actually got to see him in the first one sing a whole song by himself.
Yeah.
And it worked wonders. And this one I feel like this was the proof that people needed to go in like, see, I told you he can't sing.
Yeah.
Or it's just he couldn't, like, I don't know.
He can't hold the lyrics aren't even, half the lyrics are "Come on up, Moana," and then
I hated that. I don't know why. I just hated that.
It sounded
like me.
Yeah.
I was like, let me write a song, guys.
If you were gonna write a song, be like, what rhymes with Moana?
Come on,
like, Moana, iguana. And you're like shit like
iguana.
That. Yeah.
And I'm like, this sounds terrible. This is something like I would write.
He's not the Rizzler in that Merry Christmas song.
Not at all. Not at all. That was amazing.
But I mean, I don't know. It was super underwhelming, and I think that more than anything, and that's honestly,
it's disappointing, and the fact that you can tell a lot about a movie when it's not being advertised as much.
Yeah, it's not even. It's doing fine critically. It's on the verge of like being at like 59% on Rotten Tomatoes, which makes sense to me.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, and I thought it was okay enough, and that actually makes me a little bit angry because we always say
I didn't think the music in this movie. There wasn't a lot of songs in this one compared to the first one.
Actually, I don't even, there aren't that many in the first one either, but you just remember them because they're memorable. Yeah.
Okay.
Like here, that's why I even blanked whenever we were talking about it just now. I couldn't remember which one that. Yeah. But overall, would you want to see a third one of these?
I mean, the way they end, yeah. I kind of do want to see a third one, and hopefully. Honestly, if the third one was just the music itself was great, I wouldn't care less.
Yeah.
About whatever story they have to say and like the characters that they bring. It's just the music.
Honestly, this could have been the same movie, and the song's been written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I would have been probably a lot happier.
Yeah, I'm like, it was still the same. It's just like, great.
5 out of 5 because
the songs were great.
Just gonna blast "You're Welcome." Me like getting in the car and putting on the soundtrack for the first one again instead of
How Far Go.
Exactly, yeah.
That was so great.
Being in the Disney store listening to that at the Lakeline Mall.
Yeah.
I don't think it's there anymore.
No,
but
it's not.
Overall, Erwin, what'd you think of this?
The movie was okay.
Yeah.
Very, like you said, underwhelming.
Yeah. What would you give it out of 5?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
Yeah.
So, like, just right there, yeah.
Just right there.
I thought about that, but I got a little mad watching it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give it a low score, but I'm going to give it a not passing score, a 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I just think that I could see myself watching this movie at home.
Yeah.
And being like, that was okay.
That's part of the thing. I mean, you would have.
Yeah, I would have felt the same way regardless. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You would have just been watching that's what I didn't like though, is kept seeing myself being like sitting there just watching it like it's enjoyable enough. Yeah. I mean, I didn't get up to go and see it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I don't want it to feel like TV.
Yeah.
Disney's supposed to be the special event movie every year. They're supposed to have their big one. In Moana 2, I want to reiterate, I love the first movie quite a bit. It's in that trifecta of the first Frozen, Tangled, and Moana.
I love to see I love Tangled. I see that movie once every couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just so I think the music itself is amazing.
Yeah, I think that all three of those are great. And this one just, I mean, if they make a Tangled 2, now they're going to have a trifecta of Moana 2, Frozen 2, and then if that one's that quality, then...
Oh, they're going to bring back Zachary Levi.
Probably. I mean, he needs a career. Yeah. But... Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. What's up next?
I don't know. Craven the Hunter?
Craven the Hunter. Are you guys craving a hunt? So are we.
I can't wait.
Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim?
Rohirrim?
Rohirrim. Are you excited for these?
Yeah, I'll say I am.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about those two movies.
I'm curious about both of them because Craven's rated R, so that's interesting to me.
I mean, it's another Sony Marvel
That's
movie.
What's not so interesting to me.
Yeah, and so I'm excited to see how that movie gets presented. Like, if it's funny or just straight up bad.
Honestly, even if it's like guilty pleasure, like violent, I want that at the very least.
Hopefully the action is great.
That's my one thing. Yeah. Like, just nail that, and then to be fine.
Hopefully Aaron Taylor Johnson's charisma is there.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing.
He's great in Bullet Train.
Yeah,
but I also want to mention that we are shouting people out in our comments now before we wrap up our episode. So thank you so much, Certified Savage 4830, that on our Penguin review said the show was good.
Hey,
we agree with you.
He's right. That's what it says. Like last time, or I thought it was. Guys, I was confused. I don't know why. I think I just read like the first couple of comments on the top, and then he was reading the bottom one. For some reason, I must have been so tired that I could not see the bottom one whatsoever. And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
You looked insane whenever.
Yeah, when I looked back, I was like, "Oh, it's there. It's right there."
Well, guys, do you want a shout out on our YouTube videos? For the people on Spotify as well,
leave a shout out of me shouting, and then I'll shout
at somewhere between pod, and he'll break our mic.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for.
I'll break
listening.
the mic by just singing one of the Moana 2 songs.
Oh, because it's so bad.
Yeah.
Nice, great. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We will see you next time.